Leo, before we go anywhere today, I need to say something to you that you probably needed to hear for a very long time. Your fire is not too much. It has never been too much. And the fact that you have spent years, maybe decades, toning yourself down, making yourself smaller, apologizing for how much light you carry, that ends today. Because I'm introducing you to Sekhmet, the Egyptian lioness goddess who was created from the blazing eye of the sun god himself, the most feared and revered goddess in all of ancient Egypt. And she is your goddess. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly who she was, why she chose Leo, what her shadow teaches you about yourself, and the 5 sacred destinations she has been calling you toward your entire life. Stay with me, because this one thing is going to just change your life. Before the pyramids rose from the desert floor, before the pharaohs claimed their thrones, before the Nile carved its ancient path through the sand and gave life to a civilization that would last 3,000 years, there was the sun, absolute, merciless, the most powerful force in the ancient Egyptian world. And when the sun god, Ra, needed to send his greatest power to earth, he did not send an army. He did not send a messenger. He sent his eye, his most powerful divine force. And from that eye, he created Sekhmet. Her name means who is powerful, and she was also called the Terrible One, the Lady of the Flame, the Eye of Ra, the one even the gods spoke of carefully and quietly. Here's what happened. Ra looked down at the earth one day and saw that humanity had lost its way. People had grown corrupt, ungrateful, destructive, careless with the gift of their own lives. And Ra was furious in the way that only a solar deity who has watched his beloved creation squander itself can be furious. So he sent Sekhmet. She descended on the earth like the desert sun, as absolute, merciless, blazing, unstoppable, consuming. She was the lioness, the size of the sky. Her breath was the hot desert wind. Her roar split the earth. Everywhere she walked, the ground burned and the corrupt fell before her. She was sent to restore order, to burn away everything that had overstayed its welcome, to remind the world of what power actually looks like when it is fully and completely unleashed. And she did exactly that with terrifying efficiency and absolute commitment. But here is where the story gets extraordinary and where it gets deeply personal for Leo. Sekhmet lost herself. She became so consumed by her own power, so deep in the fire of her own purpose, that she could no longer tell the difference between healing and destroying, between what needed to be burned and what needed to be protected. She had become the consuming fire and nothing else. Ra watched in horror as Sekhmet threatened to destroy all of humanity, not just the corrupt, but everyone, the innocent, the good ones. She had been sent to protect. Ra had to stop her. But how do you stop the most powerful goddess ever created from the eye of the sun itself? He did not fight her. He did not overpower her. He flooded the fields with red ochre mixed into beer so it looked like blood. Sekhmet, believing the battle was still raging, drank deeply, and as the beer took hold, her rage transformed. The destroyer became the healer. The consuming fire became the warm golden light of the setting sun. And from that transformation, Sekhmet became whole, both the blazing noon sun and the warm golden sunset, both the fierce lioness and the tender healer, both the destroyer and the physician. Ancient Egypt physicians were her priests. before every surgery, before every healing, before every battle. They invoked Sekhmet because they understood something the modern world has almost entirely forgotten. Healing and destruction are not opposites, they are partners. Sometimes the body must fight with everything it has to survive. Sometimes the world must burn a little before it can be remade. Sekhmet, she understood this with the absolute clarity of the desert sun at noon. Leo, this is your story. You arrived in this world radiating something that other people immediately feel a warmth, a magnetism, a solar energy that makes the room brighter when you enter and then somehow dimmer when you leave. That is not your imagination. That is not arrogance. That is cosmically accurate self knowledge. Like Sekhmet, you carry both the blazing noon sun and the warm golden sunset within you simultaneously. The fierce, magnificent force that commands attention, and the generous, warm hearted nurturer who would do absolutely anything for the people under your protection. Like Sekhmet, you were built to shine. You know it. And you have spent your entire whole life being told that knowing it is somehow wrong. The sun does not apologize for being the brightest thing in the solar system. Neither should you. You were given this radiance for a reason. It is meant to illuminate, to warm, to energize, to inspire. When you suppress your fire to make other people more comfortable, you are not being humble. You are withholding something the world genuinely needs. But Leo, and this is the part that requires your full honesty, you also carry Sekhmet's shadow, the consuming fire that can turn from passion into ego, from confidence into the need to be the most important person in every room at all times, from generous warmth into the hurt pride of someone who feels unseen and responds by taking up even more space until everyone around them is exhausted. Sekhmet lost herself in her own power until she could no longer tell the difference between healing and destroying. Leo's growth is the same journey she took, learning when to be the lioness and when to set down the sword and simply be warm and present and soft. The most powerful Leos, the ones who have truly stepped into their full magnitude, are the ones who have learned to carry both Sekhmet and Hathor within themselves simultaneously. The fire and the love, the power and the tenderness, the sun at noon and the sun at the golden hour. That is your work, and it is magnificent work. Sekhmet's gift to Leo is this, and I want you to write it down. Your fire is not too much. It is exactly enough for everything you were born to do. The world does not need you smaller. It needs you sovereign, not performing, not managing other people's comfort with your own light, not shrinking yourself into the version of Leo that everyone around you finds easiest to be near, but sovereign, fully alive, completely yourself, the blazing eye of Ra, walking around in human form, doing exactly what you came here to do. Her mantra for your journey is this: I do not need to earn this beauty. I only need to be present enough to receive it. Now, let me tell you something about Leo women in travel that nobody is going to tell you anywhere else. You have been called extra, high maintenance, too particular about where you stay, too focused on the experience being special and memorable and photogenic and worth talking about for years afterward. I want you to hear me. This is not a flaw. That is Sekhmet's Leo operating exactly as designed. Leo women are the most intentionally joyful travelers in the entire zodiac. You do not just go somewhere. You curate an experience. You make it memorable. You turn an ordinary trip into something people are still talking about a decade later because you understood that travel is not just logistics. It is living at your highest possible expression. Leo needs to feel celebrated and seen while traveling, not in a needy way, in the way that Sekhmet needed to know her power was honored and not something to be hidden or managed or apologized for. Leo needs visually stunning environments that match her internal sense of magnitude. A generic hotel in a mediocre location does something to Leo that it does not do to other signs. It just disappoints her, it deflates her. Because Leo's confidence in Leo's environment are more connected than any other sign in the zodiac. Leo needs at least one experience on every trip that is extraordinary, not just good, not just fine, but extraordinary. The kind of moment that becomes part of the story of who you are. And Leo needs to travel at a pace that allows her to actually savor the highlights, not rush, not checking off boxes, but to linger, to let the magnificent be magnificent. Let Sekhmet breathe. When you travel against your nature, you come home deflated and somehow more exhausted than when you left. When you travel with Sekhmet guiding you, you come home expanded, full, more yourself than when you departed. So, where is Sekhmet calling you? Here are the 5 sacred destinations she has been trying to send you to your entire life. Number 1, Luxor and Karnak, Egypt. This is non negotiable for Leo, and I mean that completely. Karnak is Sekhmet's actual homeland. The Temple of Karnak is the largest religious site ever constructed on this earth, and it contains over 700 statues of Sekhmet lining the sacred processional way. 700 lioness goddesses figures, because the ancient Egyptians, they understood that Sekhmet's power was not something to be invoked sparingly. It was something to be honored continuously and completely. Leo standing among Sekhmet statues at Karnak is Leo standing at the absolute center of their own mythology. This is not sightseeing. This is not tourism. This is a journey that you will feel something shift in your chest the moment that you walk through those gates that no amount of travel before will have prepared you for. This is your place. Sekhmet has been waiting for you there. Rome is a city built on the absolute conviction that human greatness deserves to be celebrated on the grandest possible scale. And Leo understands that conviction immediately and completely. Rome does not do anything quietly. Neither does Leo. You were made for each other. Eat well, dress beautifully, walk everywhere. Let Rome remind you what it feels like when human beings refuse to be ordinary. Number 4, Las Vegas, Nevada. I know what you're thinking, but hear me out completely. Las Vegas is the most unapologetically Leo city in America. Spectacle as philosophy, performance as architecture, the absolute conviction that more is always more and that human beings deserve to be dazzled simply for showing up. Every hotel is a production, every show is an event. Every meal is an experience designed to make you feel like you are the most important person in that room. Sekhmet, she would absolutely have a residency on the strip. It would be completely sold out every night. And the people in the audience, they would leave forever changed. This is your city, Leo. Own it without apology. Number 5, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The most theatrical city in South America. Carnival, the most famous celebration on earth, is essentially a Leo national holiday. Color, performance, music, costume, and joy expressed at the absolute maximum volume the human body can contain. No holding back, no toning down, no making yourself smaller so the room feels more comfortable. And Christ the Redeemer, standing on the mountain above the city with arms stretched wide open as if to embrace this entire world, is the most Leo image that exists anywhere on this planet. Open, radiant, completely unafraid of how much space it takes up. Rio does not do anything quietly. Neither do you. You belong there. Now, here's what I want you to understand about planning as a Leo woman. The anticipation is part of the experience for you. The planning itself needs to feel elevated and intentional, not chaotic, not generic, not a series of random Google searches that leave you overwhelmed and second guessing every choice. Because when the planning feels wrong, the whole trip starts on the wrong note. And Leo, you deserve a trip that starts exactly right from the very first moment of decision. That is exactly why I created the Sekhmet Leo Goddess Travel Planner. It is built entirely around how you actually travel, your sacred destinations, your Leo travel psychology, a packing guide designed around confidence and statement dressing because Leo does not pack randomly. Leo curates. Budget tracking so your elevated experience does not come with financial regret. Itinerary pages, hotel guidance, and reflection pages for when you come home with stories that deserve to be written down. Everything is in one place, designed specifically for Leo women who are done settling for ordinary travel experiences and ready to travel at the level Sekhmet always knew they deserved. The link is in the description below. Leo, Sekhmet was created from the blazing eye of Ra to remind the world what sovereign power looks like. She did not arrive to blend in. She did not arrive to be manageable or convenient or easy to be around. She arrived to eliminate, to transform, to burn away everything that had overstayed its welcome and make room for something magnificent to grow in its place. That is you. That has always been you. Stop traveling small. Stop booking trips that do not match your magnitude. Stop apologizing for needing the experience to be extraordinary because you are a Leo woman guided by Sekhmet, and ordinary was never your destination. She has been waiting for you at Karnak. She has been waiting for you at sunrise in Abu Simbel. She has been waiting for you in every room you walked into and immediately made brighter just by being there. The question was never whether you were too much. The question was always whether you were ready to be exactly enough. Go find out. The link to your Sekhmet Leo Goddess Travel Planner is in the description below. And if this video spoke to something in you, please subscribe because I release a new goddess video every single week, and your goddess has been waiting long enough. I am Mary. This is the Goddess Compass. And remember, travel like the strong goddess you are.